Good evening, one and all. We welcome you all to the International Webinar Series on Holistic Health, Well-being and Sustainable Development 2022, commemorating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, nation celebrating 75 years of independence, and United Nations Sustainable Development Goals 2015 to 2030 as part of awareness and campaigns in collaboration with Sri Holistic Health Foundation India and Sri Research Institute and Center for Art, Sciences and Well-being. So before we start our session, let's take the blessings of Almighty.
कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः.
The blessings of Almighty, we shall continue to today's commemorations. Today is International Brain Tumor Awareness Week, that is October 29 to November 5, which is internationally commemorated. So International Brain Tumor Awareness Week takes place in a week during October and November from 29th October to 5th November this year. A brain tumor is a mass or development of abnormal cells in the brain that causes symptoms such as headaches and nausea. There are several distinct forms of brain tumors. The majority of brain tumors are non-cancerous, that is benign, although a small number of brain tumors are cancerous, malignant. Brain tumors can start in the brain itself, or they can start in other parts of the body and spread to the brain, which is often secondary or metastatic brain tumors. So the two legacy organizations, the National Brain Tumor Foundation and the Brain Tumor Society, were founded in 1980s. In 2008, the two organizations merged to become the National Brain Tumor Society, which boosted their joint efforts, and the National Brain Tumor Foundation, NBTF, was founded in San Francisco in 1981 by a small group of healthcare practitioners and those whose lives had been significantly impacted by the brain tumors. The foundation mission was to provide comprehensive resources and support services to the brain tumor community. Throughout its nearly 3 decades of operation, the group has built several significant community activities, including the first national conference for persons with brain tumors, as well as nationwide volunteer network of support. In 1989, the Brain Tumor Society was formed in Boston. Bonnie and Sid Feldman formed the group alongside Richard B. Ross and other dedicated volunteer leaders for their son Seth died of brain tumor. Following its founding, the BTS was essential in garnering cash for brain tumor research grants. The BTS has supported groundbreaking research by more than 90 scientists, a who's who of brain tumor specialists. During its 20-year history, scientists were also able to understand more about how brain tumors work and how to treat them thanks to BTS funding. The Kelly Heinz Brander Foundation, a Delaware based nonprofit dedicated to raising tumor awareness, amalgamated with an MBTS in March 2010. 2 years after two organizations merged, Kelly passed away in September 2004 after a 2-year battle with a brain tumor, and KHG was founded in her honor. International Brain Tumor Awareness Week was established in 1997 to educate the public and highlight the need for additional funding for brain tumor research. And seizures are often the initial indication of a brain tumor, although they may occur at any stage. This is often the first symptom of a brain tumor. And if you are diagnosed with a brain tumor, have no fear. More than 7 lakh Americans presently live with a brain tumor, and it's not always fatal. And what causes brain tumors? As with other cancers, brain and spinal cord tumors are generally by alterations in the DNA within cells. And today, or entire this week, wear orange and gray this week. It's a show of love and support for brain tumor patients worldwide. Use the hashtags brain tumor, orange and gray, brain tumor awareness week, BTA week to post on National Brain Tumor Society's handles, and organizing, making plans or fundraising walk, run or activity in your area. You can raise money that will benefit a brain tumor charity. And brain tumor classifications, there are about 100 different forms of primary brain tumors, each of which has its symptoms, therapies, and prognosis. A primary malignant brain tumor is a rare type of cancer that accounts for about 1.4% of all new cancer cases in the US. The majority of the people who are diagnosed with a primary brain tumor have no recognized risk. So the cause of brain cancer is unclear. They may develop at any stage, and primary brain tumors may occur at any age, although they are more frequent in children and elderly. The chances of surviving survival vary based on various types of primary brain cancer, and survival rates vary greatly depending on the type. And this day, International Brain Tumor Awareness Week creates awareness about the disease, and this helps reduce the stigma associated with brain tumors. During this week, funds are raised for research into new and more effective treatment therapies, which is vital. The week enables the whole world to show support to people affected by brain tumors and join the cause. And apart from that, we have a lot of, animal commemorations today, like National Cat Day and National Pitbull Awareness Day, Hug a Sheep Day, Muddy Dog Day. Let's look into each one of them. And today is also National Indigenous Peoples Thanksgiving Day and National Internet Day and National Hermit Day. And also National Prescription Drug Take Back Day and National Oatmeal Day for those who enjoy oatmeal. And today is also Feed the Birds Day and Turkey's Republic Day and World Psoriasis Day. You know, white patches. And today is also World Stroke Day. So, and many are there. We will look at some of them. So, starting with National Internet Day. So, looking back to initially AOL's Quaint, you got the mail ads, circa 1997. You could imagine what the internet would mean all these years later. We loved the new thing called the email, but could we imagine booking entire overseas vacations on our phones at 3 a.m. or something called Instagram or the web's worldwide implications? So there are similar days, that is National Computer Security Day and the National Download Day and Word Password Day, which are related to internet, national internet. And October 29th, 1969, Charlie Klein, a young grad student on the UCLA campus, attempts to send the first internet message to his colleague, Bill Jewell at Stanford. They were working something called on ARPANET, that is Advanced Research Projects Agency Network, and US Defense Department funded network that connected 4 terminals installed at UCLA, Stanford, UC Santa Barbara, and the University of Utah. They succeeded sort of in their attempt to send the word login. So Charlie Klein, so I am on the phone, I type the L and say, okay, I type it in L. You got that? Bill Dewar, the guy at the Stanford, is watching his monitor and he has the L. I type the O. Got the O? Type this G. Wait a minute, Bill says, my system crashed. I will call you back. An hour later, under the watchful eye of UCLA computer screen professor Leonard Kleinrock, Klein was able to send the complete login message, the word LOGIN. After that, another man, a computer scientist named Joseph Leider, also deserves credit for being an internet pioneer with an early vision of a worldwide computer network long before it was built. Today, he is known as Computing Johnny Appleseed. It's impossible to calculate the effect of internet on society as a whole. That's like trying to figure out how the telephone and printing press changed the world. We started with chat rooms, email programs, and some basic websites, and wound up in the midst of cultural revolution. Today's we got mail, along with access to infinite possibilities in our back pockets, literally. So AOL, America Online, introduces a monthly flat rate for access to internet, chat rooms instead of charging by hour. So for $19.95 a month, users could now stay for as long as they wanted. AOL's subscriber base would grow to 17 million by 1999. Let's chat in 1996. So the iMac makes computing easy. Apple designs a landmark and colorful desktop computer that users set up with a simple two-step process. Apple's catchphrase is a popular commercial. In in a popular commercial, uh, there's no step three. Another ad showed a 7-year-old setting up an iMac in a little over 8 minutes in 1998. And Mark Zuckerberg launches Facebook as a hardware-only social network in 2004. By 2011, Facebook estimated worth stands at $50 billion. The dawn of fake news on Facebook would influence the 2016 presidential election. So that's the impact it can create. It can decide who is winning, who is losing, and who can form the governments. And it's prime time. Amazon emerges as America's second largest private employer. Only Walmart has more workers. Jeff Bezos' companies has connections to more than a third of all retail products bought or sold online in the US. Amazon also owns the Whole Foods and helps arrange the shipment of items purchased across the web in 2019. So each year on February 11th, Safer Internet Day aims to create awareness on emerging online issues and choices, a topic reflecting current concerns. Safer Internet Day is originally an European holiday. However, people outside Europe also do celebrate it. Uh, Whether it is safe for children or not, internet, that depends on a lot of factors. But by and large, when used responsibly and with adult supervision, the internet can be a terrific resource for children and adults too, for that matter. So there are some dangers of the internet too. Some of the dangers include cyberbullying, screen addiction, damage to the eyes from blue light, loss of sleep, and exposure to questionable or objectionable material. And it might also seem like a boring way to celebrate, but the next time a giant bank gets hacked, you'll be able to reset or rest just a tad easier. So mix up your passwords, make your own memes, and unplug just for a day. You wouldn't dare refrain from National Pizza Day. So why unplug from web on National Internet Day? Well, because we can. Most of us use the internet every day, and it can be easy to forget how much we depend on. By taking a day off, we can appreciate offline world as well. And many technologies promise to connect the world, the mail service, telegraph, telephone, to name a few, but none of them succeeded with such a scale and speed as the web. A message that once could have been taken weeks to receive can now be transmitted across the world, the solar system. in mere moments. And it's a global equalizer. 30 years ago, only world wealthiest individuals and institutions had access to library of information, comparable with what's online today. While it's still not an entire free process, the price of information access has fallen dramatically with the rise of internet, putting infinite information into the pockets of billions across the globe. And for a tool that so many people use so differently, there's one part of the internet that seems to be constant. Cats, from long cat to grumpy cat, our feline friends have become quick celebrities on the internet. As the history tells us, we are always looking for a new hero the internet delivers every day. So today is a National Indigenous People Thanksgiving Day, especially with respect to Philippines. So it is observed on October 29th every year in Philippines is a day to honor and promote the hundreds of thousands of indigenous peoples who live in the Philippines and archipelagos islands. The day honors all indigenous people in the country who have been granted civil and human rights. The indigenous peoples of the Philippines are valiant people who, despite their traditional customs, were able to resist colonization by both Spanish and American conquerors who the indigenous peoples of Philippines are valiant people who, despite their traditional customs, were able to resist colonization by both Spanish and American conquerors who overran the Philippines archipelago's lowlands. An indigenous person has a strong tie to their ancestral and cultural norms and values and refuses to assimilate other countries into theirs. So what makes a person indigenous? Indigenous describes any group of people native to a specific region. In other words, it refers to the people who give life, really. So the most marked problem of Filipino indigenous people is the lack of appropriation of basic human rights, such as rights to proper health care, education, and non-representation in national affairs. And it is a day to advocate for more recognition and freedom for indigenous peoples. In the Philippines, indigenous peoples help protect our environment, fight climate change, and also build resilience to natural disasters. Yet their insights and indigenous peoples are found in about 90 countries and have a total population of around 476 million. And indigenous peoples mostly do not govern their lands and are governed by their country's central government. And indigenous peoples have more tendency to be poor as compared to other groups. And indigenous people are more salty. Sorry, they are prone to poverty. Indigenous peoples have more tendency to be poor as compared to other groups of people. And the indigenous people mostly strive to conserve and protect their natural environments. The life expectancy of an indigenous people is 20 years, lower than that of normal indigenous people. So indigenous people are perfect examples of a human group that has maintained their roots and defined contamination by other foreign cultures. The indigenous One of the purpose of the day celebration is to allow all indigenous peoples in the market in the Philippines to showcase and practice cultural heritage without any government hindrance. Celebrating our differences as well as common interests helps unite and educate us. It also promotes equality. National Indigenous Peoples Thanksgiving Day promotes equitable treatment on the inhabitants of today is also National Prescription Drug Take Back Day. So we all might be curious how to dispose our old prescription drugs. So National Prescription Drug Take Back Day, which is held in April and October every year, is the most suitable day for the next event takes place on October 29th. This initiative, authorized by the Drug Enforcement Administration (DEA), helps people give back to their old and expired prescribed medicines in various locations all over the US. And the main goal is beating back the opioid endemic. in the US, which medical professionals say they also stem from easy availability of us. Uh, the main goal of this day, that is National Prescription Drug Take Back Day, is beating back the opioid epidemic in the US, which medical professionals say can also stem from easy availability of such medicines at homes everywhere. So if you got a pill bottle or patch medicine you no longer use, walk on any of the centers to give them back. As new drugs enter in the market and medical aid becomes available, worldwide medical waste has risen considerably in recent decades, especially unwanted medicines. It's not just an issue in affluent countries. Most of the homes on the planet have unused medication lying around. And when people don't know what to do with the drugs they don't want or need anymore, they toss them away into the most convenient option available, usually the trash bag. However, the consequences of such disposal of these drugs are incredibly high. Pollution, uh, environmental degradation, and even accidental deaths can occur due to improper medicine disposal. Unfortunately, even with the countries recognized that are medicine disposal, one of the significant reasons that the DEA launched its Take Back program in the US was because of the country's high rate of opioid consumption, which led back to the drugs present in the homes that are particularly prone to misuse. These biannual initiatives held in April and October ensure that anonymity and are free, mainly to encourage more people to drop off their unused and wanted prescription medicines at one of the 4,000 plus drop off locations around the country. And today, programs are combined with numerous technological breakthroughs, think watches. Many hospitals, retails, or clinic-based pharmacies, and even law enforcement facilities allow the disposal of old medications, check for mailboxes, drop-off boxes, and other methods that clue you into the fact that the family does indeed offer safe medicines disclosure. And many prescription drugs are not entitled to a refund or even a return. Check with your local pharmacies and medical practice, though as their policies may differ slightly. So it, it all depends on your pharmacy. Today is also National Oatmeal Day, celebrating one of the most versatile familiar foods. Oatmeal, while praised today by nutritionists and health gurus, some are very humble beginnings. The last of the cereal grains would be domesticated by Western society 3,000 years ago. Ancient Romans saw oats as an uncomfortable and diseased weather. The Quaker man has adorned Quaker oats since 1877. Many people take oatmeal baths in order to regenerate and soothe their skin. In fact, oat-based products are wash in proteins, enzymes, vitamins, and antioxidants that are apparently make excellent additions to the one's skin regimen. And just about every American has oatmeal at home. According to research, an estimated of 75% of the US households have oatmeal in their kitchens right now. And if people aren't marking or making oatmeal for the breakfast, this is they are baking oatmeal cookies for a dessert. And some people use oatmeal for holding that savor dish. So peas porridge, hot peas porridge, oats, whatnot. You can try different things. It is healthy, it's tasty, and it feeds the world. Words are hardly grain. They tolerate rain well, better than most grains, and can be planted in fall or springtime. This oatmeal is a staple food of culture for the whole world. And today is also RSPB Feed the Birds Day. It is held every year in October 29th. It's a special holiday that celebrates our relationship with the birds and encourage more people to feed their garden birds. Wild birds are important to many people in the society and an impact on our ecosystem. So the Royal Society for the Protection of Birds, in short known as RSPB, advises people to put out food and water for birds regularly. These can be kept in safe environments where the birds can land and rest and replenish themselves. Birds can be in danger of malnutrition during colder months. The weather naturally limits the amount of food the birds get, access in the wild. So Feed the Birds Day was established by British Royal Society for the Protection of Birds, in short known as RSPB. It is a holiday that is dedicated to the protection of birds in our environment. The organization encourages more people in the society to put out food and water to feed the birds. A home garden can provide food and shelter for birds, allowing more endangered species like house sparrows to feed. Since 1979, the species population has decreased by two-thirds. Since 2004, the average number of birds visiting gardens has increased by a fifth. So the RSPB was inspired to create homes for wildlife as a result of this. And the nutritional bird requirements of different birds vary. Birds can become endangered when they do not have enough access to the food they require. People can provide the type of food, can sustainably feed some types of birds based on their environment. The type of food that birds require would naturally different from what we cook. So the type of food birds require would naturally attract them. The more food there is, the more birds will flock to a certain region to feed. It's critical to match the amount of bird food available and the demand, and it's best to prevent leaving uneaten food to pile up in the feeders. The birds will develop a custom to a feeding regimen if one is established. They will start to plan their visits on the garden and on the schedule. Birds require high energy, that is uh, high fat diets to sustain their fat reserves throughout the chilly winter months. To endure their icy evenings, birds would get the nutrients they feed from high quality food and scraps, preventing them from becoming malnourished. And a bird heart beats 400 times per minute while resting and up to 1,000 times per minute while flying. And the only known poisonous bird is the hooded pitioi in Papua New Guinea, and others are, not poisonous. And pigeons were used to convey messages from the front lines of war during the world wars, and pigeons send messages and feed some birds, learn about birds, visit a zoo, and flamingos eat upside down. The only way that the flamingo bird can feed is with its head turned upside down. Birds descend from the archeotype or Archaeopteryx, which is earliest known bird that lived about 147 million years ago. And the robin is considered to be the most popular wild bird in the UK. And the ostrich is the largest living bird in the world, reaching a height of 6.2 feet. The hummingbird is the smallest living bird in the world, measuring only just 2.1 inches long. And this day contributes to the raising awareness of wild birds. People are not aware of the problems birds encounter and how to help them. And people are more likely to help birds as a result of the holiday. Birds have easier access to food and water, which makes it easier for them to survive. Birds play a vital role in the economy. They aid in the maintenance of healthy environmental balance. Protecting them contributes to the environment protection. And today is World Psoriasis Day, that shines a light on the challenges faced by those suffering from psoriasis and psoriatic arthritis. Psoriasis is a disease that results from an overactive immune system and is evidenced by rashes on the skin, While most immune systems take 30 days or so to push new cells to the skin, uh, those with psoriasis push new cells within 2 or 3 days. On World Psoriasis Day, psoriasis associations strive to spread information about the condition and improve access to treatment. The International Federation of Psoriasis Associations present World Psoriasis Day to recognize those with psoriasis and or psoriatic arthritis. It has been celebrated on October 29th for more than a decade. On World Psoriasis Day, our member associations and their supporters organize events around the world to raise awareness on psoriasis. Both doctors and patients have misunderstood psoriasis for centuries. While able to isolate the symptoms, the most respected medical minds of ancient times still remain baffled. Hippocrates finally replaced superstitions with the knowledge in treating skin ailments by introducing tar into the mix. However, he also prescribed tropical arsenic. The Greek physician Galen identified psoriasis as a skin disease through clinical observation and was the first to label it as psoriasis. But along with arsenic, he also suggested applying both in a viper has been boiled. The condition, often mixed up with skin diseases, believed contagious, led to the confusion with leprosy, blamed the Old Testament and its accompanying social stigma. Officials in medieval Europe forced psoriasis sufferers to warm others on their arrival by a ring flapper. And as per National Psoriasis Foundation, Ellen Seddon treatment has ideas included lubrication of the skin and wrapping the body in sheets for days to create occlusion, that is covered to loosen scales, popular applications sometimes. Today is also World Stroke Day. The World Stroke Organization states that 1 in 4 adults will experience a stroke in their lifetime. That is why the official World Stroke Day on 29th aims to raise awareness about ailment worldwide. In simple words, the stroke happens when the blood supply to the brain is cut off, resulting in temporary or permanent damage to your brain cells. A person can recover from a stroke, but those who do not recover either suffer from one disability or other, or in the worst case scenario, they die. World Stroke Day reinforces the idea of stroke being preventable. One of the best things we can do to reduce chances of getting a stroke is becoming physically active. Exercising regularly and eating or drinking right will help us not to be part of the 1 in 4 static. Stroke is the number one one cause of disabilities, and it is also the second highest reason behind the people dying from a disease. The World Stroke Day was first celebrated in 2006. The organization came into being same year after the merger of International Stroke Society (ISS) and the World Stroke Foundation. Federation, WSF. The WSO is a non-profit agency that works to raise awareness about the strokes and help stroke survivors in getting back to their lives. In their own words, the WSO's mission is to promote research and training in the area that improve the care of stroke victims throughout the world. And in this way, the organization is also committed to recognizing, appreciating the efforts of all those medical or non-medical professionals. The WSO also hosts a biannual Congress workshop where to date more than 2,400 participants have learned important skill sets. In order to reach a wider audience, the organization has put up an e-learning platform called the World Stroke Academy. There's also a special theme surrounding October 29th. Previous year's themes included, little strokes, big troubles. And in 2013, because I care. And in 2018, up again after the stroke. And people, who smoke, have high blood pressure or cholesterol, diabetes and obesity are at higher risk of suffering from a stroke. You can prevent a stroke from happening by quitting tobacco consumption, eating or drinking healthy, and exercising and taking good care of your heart. And today is National Cat Day, and it was created by Cole and Peg to bring awareness to the number of cats that need to be rescued every year. Cats remain that just when you think they are lost in interest, they turn around you and melt your hearts. But you know, it will happen when you least expect it, because cats have their own timetable. Today is also National Pitbull Awareness Day. For those who think it's only the retrievers and labs of the world are the sweetest and cutest, National Pitbull Awareness Day is for you on the last Saturday of October. Falling on October 29 this year, who believe American Pitbull Terriers are menacing, dangerous animals. This day is for you. For anyone who hasn't taken time to learn that pit bulls are, in fact, loving, caring pets. National Pit Bull Association, Awareness Day is for you, a day for which we can celebrate how loving, kind, and compassionate these dogs truly are. And finally, we put them to bed, those terrible misconceptions. And it is a day created in 2007 to help raise awareness on the truth about pit bulls. For nearly 100 years, those four-legged friends were considered nanny dogs because they were so loyal, docile, and loving. The parents would often leave babies of toddlers with their pit bulls while they ran to the store. Over the decades, pitties have unfortunately garnered a reputation as being ferocious, malicious, and dangerous beasts, an image far from the truth and based on the actions of malign humans, not the animals themselves. So pit were born out of mixture of bulldog and terrier in England in the 18th century, partly to help with much needed rodent and vermin regulation from the industrial. Today is a hug sheep day. Uh, it encourages you to appreciate sheep for all the good things they bring into your life. You don't need to own sheep to join this celebration. Visiting a pet zoo or ask your farmer friend to invite you over some quality hugging time. This holiday was created to honor a woolly great named Pumpkin. Yes, he was a sheep, but not just any sheep. He was the first love of the crazy sheep lady of Equinox Farms. Pumpkin was the first sheep she ever owned, a rescue from the bluegrass stockyards in 1992. Pumpkin immediately won over the crazy sheep lady's heart, seemingly out of nothing. A world of friendship soon grew between sheep and sheep lady. And today is also Muddy Dog Day. The objective of this holiday is to simply bring joy to pet owners after COVID-19 caused a lockdown in the UK. So pet owners shared pictures of the pet canines rolling around in the dirty, jumping, muddy puddles. So Joe Millines, founder, the owner of Distinctive Pets, came up with the holiday and encouraged people to share their muddy dog photographs in the days leading up to Muddy Dog Day. So the day is meant to be a fun to be spread with dogs, regardless of breed, age, gender, etc. So hermits, by definition, are people who prefer seclusion to socialization. They spend their lives living separated from the rest of the world. Traditionally, hermits choose lifestyle because of religious reasons. Their days are filled with religious prayers, invoking the deities, and just musing on their general philosophy of life. And traditionally, hermits choose the lifestyle because of religious reasons. Their days are filled with religious prayers, invoking the deities, and just musing on their general philosophy of life. And some historical hermits include Father Maxim, Willard MacDonald, who lived as a hermit for 60 years in Canada. But you don't need to cut off all your worldly ties to celebrate national hermit. You can choose to spend the day on the part thereof by yourself. In a favorite quote, or most people complain about too little me time, which can start sorting out by taking part in hermit day. In the world, there are more constant barrage of information being thrown our way. This could be in the form of social media, phone calls, messages, or the general interest. Having more less days will allow you to have much more welcome dose of reset and freshness. So with this, we shall conclude today's commemorations. Quickly fill up the feedback form raised in the form of polls. Dear friends, quickly fill up the feedback form shared. Dear friends, quickly fill up the feedback form. So see you all tomorrow at 11 o'clock. Take care. Good night.